I hope everyone is having a great day. This is our pre-recording trainings, our last pre-recording training actually of our 3-part series. So please check out our other 2 videos of our web development trainings if you have not already. Here's our final one. Sierra, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Lily. So this one is going to be about domains and subdomains. It is a vast world. There's so much information on it. I can honestly say a lot of it goes over my head. So I want to kind of give you as much basic information as I can so that you kind of understand the differences. I won't go into too much of it. Ultimately, a domain is just the name of your website. So Google, easily be able to access that. GoDaddy, just names that you can easily think of, Lowe's, Walmart, to easily be able to access the website. So by having a domain, you can kind of ultimately name it whatever you want as long as it's not in use. So here's an example of GoDaddy. They allow you to be able to purchase a domain. But I guess before I go there, let me kind of explain what Wix, which is going to be ultimately what a lot of everyone is using, what they do and what they provide. So looking at Wix, basically what you're dealing with for them is they will create a domain for you. So they'll create an easy name so people can easily access you. Let's see. So if we go to, I think I had it up earlier. Just want to make sure. Okay, so here's an example of the renaming of the site. So the site name is what is basically going to be able to show when you're hovering over the top here. And then you have the actual site address, which comes down to what your domain, or comes down to what the domain can be. For Wix, it starts you out at the beginning of what it's going to be based off of the information that you gave it, how you set it up. So it would be the business name and everything, .wixsite.com/. And then it would be up to you what you wanted that first page, homepage, index, what you want that to be called. Then you have ultimately your domain here. But this is using a subdomain. This is taking a website, which is the wixsite.com, and adding a subdomain, which is basically just another part of a website. So the Wix site has its own website, but because this is a website built inside of it, the Sierra Yates 2000 is a subdomain part of the Wix site. So let's say that we called it Arizona Food Bank, AZ Food Bank would be the subdomain of wixsite.com. Another example that I'm going to show you that we've already looked at is that Google My Business. Google.com is an actual website. I mean, you can search on there. We all use Google. But by adding the business.google, that is now a subdomain, which is different from Google itself, but part of Google. So it's just a different part of it. So by using the Wix website, if you do not provide your own domain, you're going to use a part of the Wix website with a subdomain for your business. I hope that makes sense. This doesn't interfere with anything. It doesn't hurt anything. It's automatically provided by Wix. I would say that the only thing that it can interfere with when it comes to Wix is if you don't kind of move through the process to make sure that people can't tell you're using Wix. So again, unfortunately, I'm coming back to this website that I've kind of touched on in the past, but by coming to this live website that is basically representing this business, we automatically know that it's Wix because it says it up here at the top. That's not good. It's not bad because you have a website, you have a presence. It's up to you how professional you want to feel or how professional you feel like it seems to have this information up there. They do have the ability to kind of the different Wix packs where you can kind of pay for a little bit more so that you don't see that information on there. I don't want to say it's a good thing or not. I know everyone has their pricing and everything, but I can say as a whole, it does look more professional when you don't have Wix site on there. I'm not saying again that it's bad to use it, just it can look a little bit unprofessional by having this. But looking at the website itself, there's nothing wrong with this subdomain here. You can even see how they added YCFP as the page name of, like I show here for the renaming the site, that shows website. Another thing that there is usually a difference with subdomains and domains, there used to be a difference with Google ranking or SEO. With Wix, it gives you the ability on the dashboard to actually update this type of information. SEO is just their search engine optimization, and it's basically how you're going to show on Google. In the end, what it kind of comes down to is the more information that you have on your website, the higher you can overall rank on Google. You ultimately want to think about what someone would be searching in order to be able to find your website. So if you're a food pantry, having words like food pantry on your website as SEO search engine, anytime someone types in food pantry, now you'll be one of those people who rank to show on food pantry. So that's kind of how SEO works. There are lots of things and lots of rules. You can overstuff when it comes to keywords for SEO. Let's say you wanted to do food pantry and food and pantry and food bank, and just like every word that you can think of. Unfortunately, Google knows that people do this. So if you overstuff with keywords and SEO, it can actually hurt you in the long run. Google will see that. They will say absolutely not, and they will rank you lower on Google because they know that you're trying to, in a way, beat the system. Usually you're looking at about 20 to 30 words max when it comes to keywords that you want to add to your website.
And Sierra, just to clarify, the CEO tool, that is only a feature on Wix.
That I've seen. I'm sure the other platforms, if you're using them, they will have something that's going to be included on them as well, as long as you're using a platform. If you're going and you're going to be hard coding, then yes, you'll have to go another way in order to make sure you add the SEO information for Google.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So now that we're looking at what Wix provides automatically when you sign up an account, let's kind of go back to what I was showing you with GoDaddy. This is going to be, here we are. This is going to be the ability for you to buy your domain. As long as you're with Wix and you continue and you use their website, then you'll be able to take that, where did we go? That domain that we created, and you'll be able to take that and use that across the board. But then the moment that you leave Wix, any of those people who may have known you or your website by that address, you're going to lose that. So that's why it comes in handy to purchase your own domain. You can do that through the Wix website itself, or you can go through some other parties like GoDaddy. So looking at I guess going back to the Wix site, this is what it would look like for Wix. If you wanted to buy a new domain through them, you would be able to click buy a new domain, and then you'd be taken to be able to search. You're going to look to make sure that the one that you want, the name that you want to use, is not in use. And then they're going to be able to give you some information on how much that's going to cost and how much that's going to be. You also have the ability to kind of go back to GoDaddy, and you're able to purchase through them. They are a very, very known company when it comes to domains. They're very, very easy when it comes to transferring them, when it comes to moving them around. You don't always know who's going to own a company, if it's going to change. So sometimes that may have to change as well. And by having a GoDaddy, a domain through GoDaddy, you have an account. Usually the other person just needs a GoDaddy account themselves. Then you just need to transfer it, and it's easy peasy. There can be some other domains when you're trying to transfer them or move them, it can take weeks for them to get transferred to the new owner, for them to recognize any information like that. So GoDaddy is very safe, very easy to use. Again, you're just going to type in the domain that you want to. Once you have that, they'll be able to let you know if they have it or not, and they'll be able to give you pricing on that. Again,
Sierra,
sorry.
Just to clarify, just because you're saying the words transfer in case you want to move your site, what are you referring to if you transfer or if you move your site? What is that?
Okay, yeah. So like I was kind of trying to explain before, if you're using Wix and you're on Wix and you're having it using the domain that they have, then you have to, it's always going to be associated with that. But let's say that you have someone saying, hey, I already have an AZ Food Bank website, azfoodbank.com. Would you like to associate that so that when people go to azfoodbank.com, they see the website that you created? If you want that, they would need to transfer the domain into your name because it does cost to be able to maintain a domain. It's usually like a yearly cost. You're looking at like $12 a year, depending on the domain, how big it is and things like that. But you're just going to need to transfer that over into someone else's name. So Lily, let's say that you have the AZ Food Bank. You want to transfer that over to me so that I can associate it with this website that I just created. In GoDaddy, you'd be able to say, I'm transferring it to Sierra. I would need to log in with my account, accept that, and now the domain is mine to be able to use, and I'd be able to associate it with anything that I wanted to. Kind of going back to that Wix site, if you were to give me that AZ Food Bank, I would be able to connect a domain you already own rather than buying one, and then you'd be able to associate it in that way, rather than having that Wix domain for your name of the website. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for clarifying.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, overall, I want to say that those are just the basics of domains and subdomains. Wix is automatically going to create it for you. Nothing wrong with that. But if you want a name that's going to kind of stick that way, hey, we don't want to use Wix anymore. We've decided we want to use someone else. You can take that name with you, Arizona Food Bank, for instance. That way you don't lose all the following and all the people. You wouldn't have to go back to Google My Business and say, hey, my website has changed to this now, because you've taken that name and you've just changed the location of where it's going and linking to, if that makes sense. Overall, domains, subdomains, again, can be kind of confusing. I'm happy to make sure I can see if there can be a link or something associated. I have some information from Wix that kind of explains more about subdomains. And then also just being able to go to godaddy.com/domains and they'll be able to explain more. That is everything that is from my part. We'll be back to you.
Thank you so much, Sierra, for coming to speak with us and creating these series for us. I hope this is really helpful for food pantries, just establishing an online presence. And if you have a presence, create a simple website. And then once you have a website, perhaps consider getting your own domain so that people can easily search you, so that you can transfer your website easier if you decide to get a different web builder. So many benefits for the long term if you want to keep your site up and running to get a domain. Again, if you have any other questions for us about any of these trainings that we just did, please contact us on our website and we'll be able to help you out. And don't forget to check the other 2 website development videos we have created for you. All right, and I think that's it, everyone. Good luck and have fun with creating your online presence. See you later.
Thank you.